Hey everyone, welcome back. Fancy seeing you here. Thank you so much for joining us on this lovely Wednesday evening. Yeah, we're gonna hit you guys up with another video this week. That's right, because we got quite a bit on our minds this week that we wanted to talk about. I find myself doing this quite often. For those of you who know, I am also a fan of MMA, of course. So I'm always following the MMA accounts on Instagram, and whenever somebody gives us some sort of hot take or some sort of opinion and I want to leave a comment, well, my comment becomes like 2 paragraphs long. It's like, okay, shit, I got to make a video about this because clearly I have much stronger opinion than I thought originally. So this is what we're going to do today because Andrew and I were kind of shooting the shit on over text earlier this weekend, or this week, I should say, in regards to last weekend's Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios fight and the outcome, the decision. We're going to kind of take a closer look at that and kind of see what the possible repercussions are if things continue going this way. We also want to talk about something's going on this Saturday that a lot of people I don't see a lot of websites and I guess Instagram accounts or Twitter accounts, X accounts talking about it too much. I've seen it dropped here and there, but it's the boxing fights. The fights are taking place this weekend that we're going to be talking about as well. Maybe not the fights themselves, but again, the landscape of boxing, how it could be after Saturday. So just a couple of topics we want to talk about, of course, but we realized during the week, like, damn, we got a lot to talk about. Like, we have a more of a stronger opinion than we originally thought. So we wanted to toss in a nice little short show for you guys on Wednesday, and why not add some more content to our channel, of course. So that being said, before I take over the mic, no, Andrew, what's going on, dude? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, Miguel? Doing good. Freaking Wednesday night. Just had dinner. I took a nap. I got home early.
Mm.
So I was out about a half an hour ago. I was asleep, and then my wife wakes me up. She feeds me, and I was about to go right back to sleep. And she goes, "Hey, aren't you doing your show?" I was like, "What time is it?" Oh shit! So give me 5 or 10 minutes. I'll wake up here eventually. But yeah, I just woke up, dude. You just caught me, man. Freaking, I totally forgot. I was almost out. You're
Yeah,
lucky. Yeah, you're lucky Christina was here, bro. You might have been getting just a voicemail when you called.
I'd be like logging in right here, be like, Andrew, Andrew's not here. Like, we're gonna have to freestyle it right here on the spot with one person. No, but that's totally understandable. I have a very early shift, so when I get off of work at 3:45, 4, I have dinner. So like by 5 p.m., I'm like. I start nodding. I was like, "Oh shit, I gotta go to sleep. I gotta go to sleep." And the shitty part is that if I try to fight it right to make sure I don't go to sleep too early, because then I'm like, I feel like an old man, and then it totally leaves me right. I miss my window, and then it's 9 and 10 p.m. and I'm just like watching TV, and I can't go back to bed. So totally understand. As soon as you feel that meal hit you, you're like, you start dozing off and shit. You start doing the one eye thing. You're like, at the bed. But that is totally understandable. It is Wednesday. It is midway hump day, like that commercial where it's like Mike, 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 Mike. What day it is, Mike? What day it is? Um, that being said, we got some stuff to talk about. Um, for those of you who have been living under a rock the last week, there was quite a major event this weekend, boxing event at the MGM Grand. PBC put on a Amazon Prime pay-per-view card headlined by the legend Manny Pacquiao taking on WBC welterweight champion Mario Barrios. On the undercard of that, there were some pretty solid fights as well. Sebastian Fondora and Tim Zhu, and then Pitbull Cruz and not Fierro, but what's his name? Salcido. So, after that fight, there was a lot of people, everybody from Paul Malignaggi to I think Teddy Atlas, who was saying, I think Manny got robbed. Manny got robbed. There have been some people that even said, like, man, 4 or 5 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago, Manny would have mopped the floor with Barrios, and maybe if Barrios would have done a little bit more, maybe he would have gotten the victory and a Hall of Famer on his record, but he didn't. I believe his cornerman, his trainer Bob Santos, was in this corner saying, "Dude, come on, pick it up. Enough respect. Start letting the hands go." And he just didn't follow directions for whatever reason. Maybe he felt something that we didn't feel in the ring. Maybe he felt this Manny's pop and said, whatever. I'm not going to risk getting knocked the fuck out. And on Manny's side, to his credit, he did what he could, right? I got to be honest. And me and Andrew thought this. I thought Barrios was gonna completely mop the floor with Manny. You know, I thought Manny doesn't have the spring in his legs anymore at 47 or 46 years old, whatever the case is, and he's just not gonna be able to move around as much. He's gonna be more of a sitting duck, and Mario can catch him. That's what I thought, really. And then, of course, yeah, that really bad knockout, which again was like over a decade ago against Marquez. But sometimes those knockouts don't leave you, man. They're in your brain, right? So we weren't pleased with the decision, quite frankly. My dad was pissed. My dad was like, you know what? For as crappy as Mario was fighting, he should have freaking lost, man. He should have given to Manny. What the fuck was that? So we were yelling at the TV for Barrios to do more. But I'm going to read a couple of messages here that my good old buddy Andrew sent me here in regards to what could potentially happen if this continues, I guess. He says, PBC was built on the back of Floyd, right? Floyd Mayweather. PBC robbed Manny, quite frankly, against Ugas. We don't think he lost against Ugas. And now Barrios. His resume is untouchable if those scorecards were reversed, if they went towards Manny. PBC is single-handedly changing Manny Pacquiao, like the history for Manny Pacquiao, how we're going to look back at some of these last fights. He needs to leave that company. That's primarily what he said here, because he goes on to say, we should take a look at the scorecards, right? And maybe even Manny needs to have a meeting with Netflix. We suspect here. We're thinking he might need to leave PBC. Oh, I think we got ourselves a little bit of technical difficulties with Andrew and his children, his churns. For those of you who don't know, he's got some kids, and sometimes they act up. Everything okay?
Yes. Supposed to hold down the fort. That sound like a darn machine gun off in this. I think they put one of the kids in the closet, so he's sitting on the ground and kicking the door. Yeah, you do the, you know. So I'm hearing my walls shake, everything's shaking. Happens numerous times. It's not just one. I'm like, all right, it was one time. They'll get a hold of that. Then again. It's like, come on, man.
You got to go lay down the law when you need to.
What, Dad? What are we doing? I don't know. Who's kicking the fucking wall? Let's start with that.
Yeah, whose shoes footprint is on that wall right there? Are we gonna have to do this forensic files and see whose size shoe that is? But nonetheless, Andrew, I was letting our listeners know that we're not quite pleased with this decision. So by all means, take the floor.
No, that guy you were reading, he sounded pretty smart.
Yeah, I kind of steal his ideas sometimes.
No, look. When I watched the fight over, first the Ugas fight, let me get into that. Mm-hmm. Ugas, I felt that there's an argument for the fight to go either way. But my thing is, if Manny was the cash cow, he doesn't lose that fight. No way. Absolutely no way. So that's where I was going with the Ugas one. It's not like I'm here, ready to freaking, scream at anyone who says they felt Ugas won. I just know boxing, right?
Well, when you say that, wouldn't Manny be the cash cow? I mean, is he not in that fight with Ugas?
No, not at that point. They were moving on. They were trying to move on from Manny, I think, at that point. And seriously, bro, like Manny needs to understand where he's at, right? And that I think, look, they've been floating around the Floyd rumor for so long. You got to think that it's almost like a wet dream for Al Heyman too at this point, right? This is like all debt cleared. You would hope the rematch, right? So he's out there trying to probably gives Floyd a text message or a call after every time Manny signs or Manny says his name or does anything. And bro, you clearly watched the fight with Barrios. Barrios didn't want to win that fight. He does not want to win that fight. Mm-hmm. He didn't do anything in the last 4 rounds. It was all Manny. The crowd was behind Manny. Like, it just really seems like if they wanted to make Manny the man again, the moment was there. right? Just like in the Ugas fight. If they really wanted Manny to be the man, if they wanted him to be the face of PBC, he would have been. They had their opportunity to do it, and they're not doing it. And Manny needs to realize that. He's in close fights where he's a legend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably should take these victories.
Mm-hmm. The close rounds.
The close rounds, yeah.
Okay.
Especially in the Barrios one. And he's not. And, I would, if I was Manny, I'm looking elsewhere, not moving on with the PBC. If he's really real about coming back and fighting, sounds like he is. Says he likes that, he went so many rounds. It sounds like they have a few opponents that they're looking at for their next fight. Tank being one of them, which is crazy talk. But Tank and Rolly Romero, and then the rematch with Barrios. The dude has 3 options right now.
I don't think they're going to go in the direction of a rematch with Mario. I think they're just kind of leaving it there. I definitely want to bring up the point that you pretty much called it a few weeks back, or actually a few months back, after what's his name? After Rolly Rolando defeated Ryan Garcia in the ring, they interviewed him, and I think it was Mike Coppinger who asked him, "Hey, you know what? You just beat Ryan, who was supposed to fight Devin afterwards. How about you and Devin? And he goes, no, let them have their rematch or whatever, right? Which seemed a little strange. Sometime afterwards, we brought it up, and you mentioned, yeah, he's probably going to try to hoard his belt and be like, here you go, Manny. Here's the fucking possibility. Seeing how Barrios and Manny end up afterwards, it's coming true. It's coming to fruition. Basically, this is happening, right? He knows, like, shit, I don't know if I want to face Devin. Devin might take my belt. Fuck that. Hey, Manny, I'm gonna hold on to this belt. You want to give me a payday? I'll hand it over. That's the way it looks. So we called it. But yeah, I don't think Barrios is the direction they're gonna go. Hank seems way kind of far-fetched. The more logical one would say is Rolly.
And doesn't that make PBC the most money? Think about what you just said about Rolly Romero had the belt way before the Barrios fight, right? We already knew Rolly Romero was there
back in May.
Taking. Yeah. So why don't, if the sport is fixed, don't you want Manny to have the WBC, and he's going to try to unify at 46 years old? How much money is that, right? How many Manny fans you think come back for this one? And they're going to come back anyways. But I'm just saying, in a perfect world, you would think that they would want both straps on Manny, but they don't. They like him looking good. They like keeping that carrot in front of the fans, right, about the rematch. But they don't want him at 46 being unified. Or if he had already beaten, if he had the win versus Ugas where he would have went from there. You guys, the resume starts looking better than Floyd. Can you imagine Manny passes Floyd's legacy if you don't already have him above him? Some of you guys already have Manny above Floyd, because Floyd waited so long. But just imagine the ones that still had Floyd above him, the guys at 46 still winning titles. Right? I just feel like the PBC are like, man, are we supposed to do this? No, we can't do this. Their whole thing is built behind Floyd, right? If they ever want Floyd's rematch, you don't want Manny to start thinking he trumped Floyd's career under Al Heyman. It just seems like, is that what's keeping the PBC and Manny Pacquiao off of these decisions? Because he's pretty special if he wins that title at 46. I mean, we're talking about a guy who won, what were they bragging about? 5 generations? 5 decades?
He would have won a championship in like 4 or 5 different decades. I forgot what it was.
Yeah, I think it's 5, bro.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. It's so that's where I was at. That's where I was at on Monday. And it seems like the fight did extremely good. I mean, bro, at least on Manny's side, seems like the fight did extremely good on the pay-per-view. Now, I don't know what illegal streaming apps, I don't know how that affects, but at least they went viral on the fight. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's time for Floyd and Manny, bro. They might both need to want to make themselves a phone call. Look, that thing we discovered last week, that 300 million subscribers on Netflix, that's a real thing, bro. That is a real thing. And Floyd and Manny right now, Floyd and Manny really can come back and have a warm-up fight on Netflix do a shit ton of views. Could you imagine their warm-up fight? They
I
can
can't
do
even
the
imagine.
they could do the announcement. It could be all over. The circus could be all over again. Just because in boxing we like the circus. I'm sorry. Everyone's going, oh, they're old, they're this. Shut up. Mike Tyson just got 46 million homes to tune in the other day. Stop it. And he had
As old as he was.
And he had a knee brace on. And he looks nowhere as physical condition as Manny and Floyd still do. You know what I mean? They can have a warm-up fight, and they also can make this a unification by both going after both champions again. Manny rematching Barrios and Floyd coming out of retirement for the WBA strap. Right? So now Netflix has 2 nights they can put on with Manny and Floyd sharing the views. 300 million subscribers. They don't need anybody else. These 2 guys can walk in and do it on their own.
BBC, pretty much.
The undercard, you know, I seen the other day Turkey Ali was doing a sparring event for an undercard. Right? Who really gives a shit about the undercard? So, and it's I'm just it's Manny needs to really think about that. He's got one more ride on this roller coaster, man. Do you really want to leave it in Floyd's people's hands? Because they seem to have burned you twice now. You know, where his legacy should be a lot higher right now. You know, like I said, different times he wins both of those fights easy, and no one even bats an eye. I don't think they're him versus Ugas. No one would have been like, "Oh no, Ugas totally won that fight." No, nope. And then with him and Mario Barrios being the most recent close fight that didn't go his way.
Yeah, no, I get that. So let's go ahead and go down these rabbit holes, right? Like, let's say he doesn't leave PBC. Let's say he stays with PBC. What are we looking at? What do you think could be like the end of Manny? Do you think? Because I mean, it seems as though because he was asked during the post-fight press conference, Manny, I'm saying, about the rematch with Floyd, and he's like, "Hey, all I know is he's retired right now, but if he comes back, he's got to come back and sign the contract, and then we'll do it." So I assume that's kind of the goal.
The fact that he said he needs to sign the contract, doesn't that kind of assume that they've already have one on the table? He didn't say we need to negotiate. He didn't say come back to the table, let's talk. He was just like, sign the contract. What contract are we talking about?
Yeah. So this fight, let's say it happens going down that route, it happens under the PBC umbrella, because that would be how it would happen. No, because he leaves. Let's say this is kind of sort of what the whole point of our video was, just to kind of maybe urge Manny, dude, take a second thought. You know, take a moment and think about how this is going to go down with you and PBC if you continue with PBC, instead of bolting and going somewhere else if there is another somewhere else. But this fight doesn't happen if he leaves PBC, right? I don't think they're going to want to work with him because PBC is going to want everything in-house. So if they can do Manny Floyd 2, they're going to do it while he's with PBC. Manny, I'm talking about.
Well, no, because it all depends on money at that point. Like I said, this fight could possibly take Al Heyman out of debt. All those IOUs to those other fighters that we all have heard rumors of there being. Right, we've all seen the Adrian Broner post, and I want my money, L. I want my money, L. If Netflix is looking to get PBC out of debt, and Amazon doesn't have a contract, I'm shopping the fighters around. Look at Manny would be a fool to not even have his representation step into Netflix's headquarters to see if there's a possible way they can get Manny Pacquiao's last few fights on Netflix. PBC can't do that for what Netflix can do. You know, Amazon Prime, we've seen him fight over there. It's not the same numbers. We've never gotten a number like what Netflix has thrown out multiple times now, right? Because even the girls' fight broke records. The girls' fight did numbers we've never seen before. So it's I think they need to go into. I think they should both go into Netflix and look, have Al Heyman on speaker. He's not out of the deal. We can only talk about this because we hear that the Amazon thing is coming to an end, right?
Mm.
So with that being said, this fight should be able to be shopped around. And look, Riyadh season's cool, but they don't really need the Saudis prince's money. They don't need a middleman for this. They need to just go to the source and see if they could put on a fight.
So rather than to try to maybe kiss a little ass with Turkey, what can be in Turkey's place would be Netflix, a Netflix deal.
Yeah, because there's no ass kissing needed. They're Miguel, I could almost guarantee you their comeback fight, their warm-up fight to their next big rematch would do huge numbers, right? So they have a avenue here to make 2 serious checks from Netflix, and then also help us out, the boxing community, as showing Netflix what 2 main guys can bring, the numbers they can bring, right? 300 million subscribers. Let's see how many tune in globally to watch we're talking build-up shows. We're talking the fights, right? There's a lot of numbers here that I don't know. I think that we need really, and Pacquiao seems to be hot. You've seen the whole old people reels, young people reels, everybody. Manny's a family thing. Manny brings the Filipinos back together to again, all these different reels of Manny uniting his people. Can you imagine a free fight on Netflix?
All right, warm-up fight first.
Then, yeah, both, yeah. I'm just saying, can you imagine Manny on Netflix at this moment, right? He's only got one more go around, bro. I cannot think that after 46 we'll be talking about Manny and main events, and you know what I'm saying? He's got this last time, and Floyd needs to realize that too, because all the money problems we keep hearing about Floyd Mayweather, he needs to realize that fucking Father Time is not on his side right now, and Manny might be an easy 300, 400 million, you know. Because they're going to get multiple fights. They're going to get multiple fights, and I got to think that these build-up shows are going to create big numbers too, where they're going to have to pay them for those too. You know, everybody used to love Floyd's 24/7, right? He won awards and all that off of it. I couldn't imagine Floyd coming back on a Netflix 24/7. It would do huge numbers with the Floyd fans again. So, yeah, it's something I don't know why it isn't on the internet already. You know what I mean? On discussions have already begun between Floyd and them, unless PBC's got some deal with Amazon that we don't know about yet.
From what we hear, yeah, I mean, again, inside sources, maybe there is something that we don't know about, but as far as we know, Amazon Prime isn't too pleased with PBC, and they're looking to get out on here much longer. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go right now to PBC's website to see if there are any other like cards on the calendar. You know what I'm saying? Premier Boxing Champs. Here we go. Okay, so let's see, because there was supposed to have been, right, in next month, August, Tank and Lamont Roach Jr., the rematch. So you go to their website right now and it says new fight schedule coming soon.
Wow.
So I would imagine that you know, Amazon Prime probably isn't too pleased with it. You know, they want to have a full calendar. If they're going to have a card of maybe free fights or pay-per-view fights or whatever the case may be with PBC, it doesn't look like there's anything there. And the one that was coming up is kind of out the window now with Tank and Lamont Roach. So yeah, I would have to imagine that Amazon Prime isn't very pleased with PBC here at the moment.
And they shouldn't be. They never had a fair shot. You know, it's not fair that Netflix got Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, Crawford, and Canelo, Taylor, and Serrano, and PBC gave Amazon Tim Tszyu.
Oh, sorry, Sam. Sorry.
Not a fair shot, right? It just doesn't sound fair, bro.
I think twice. I think we got twice, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Fundora and then Baccarat.
he opens up the pay-per-view one, and he does opens up their free fight. Yeah, you're right. He was a main event for both of those.
Which
It's
was
not
supposed to have been against Thurman, but things didn't happen. But even still, Tim Tszyu, Keith Thurman, okay, I suppose. So
someone in the PBC headquarters blew that one. I don't know who made that call to try to push Tim Tszyu to the top. I don't know what he was for. If he was for Spence, who they were trying to build him up for. You know what I mean? Maybe Fundura. That's hard. That seems highly unlikely. But who in the PBC thought, no, Tim Tszyu needs to be our main event for the opening of this, because they truly did blow that. Tszyu, nowhere near the level that they were putting him at. Unfortunately, we see that now, but I mean, those guys are supposed to see that before us. You know what I mean? Somebody was watching Tszyu in training or his previous fights and thought this is going to be the future of PBC. I don't think the guy lasted a fight. Did he win on Amazon? Oh, it's Joey Spencer.
Yeah, Joey. Yeah, which I want to say that might have been. Oh shit, was that 3? Was it 3 main events then?
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it was him every single time. Shit, I mean, I guess Spence, if he would come back, because it was said that Spence would move up to 154, but that obviously never happened. But that's the only thing I can think of is prep Tim for a comeback. I mean, and mind you, they did sort of kind of try with Fundora, because it was supposed to have been, I think there was even talks of Fundora, and oh yeah, that's right, because they were even in the ring. I don't know if you remember, but after a Fundora win, it might have been right after he defeated Tim Tszyu, that Spence got into the ring, right, and they kind of like shook hands. They're like, oh yeah, so it was obvious that was where they were going towards. Now that we can look back and see that they're trying to prep Tim Tszyu for something like that with Spence.
Yeah.
So just to make sure I'm understanding is the involvement of PBC with Manny Pacquiao. If Manny tries to make this fight with Floyd comes back and they make it happen, we know that PBC is going to want their nose in there, right? What would you suggest Manny could do to kind of, like you mentioned, some sort of representation to have his back? Because we know PBC was kind of built on Floyd, so they're going to have Floyd's best interest, at least going into this rematch. What can Manny do to offset that?
Get the biggest money possible.
Look, regardless, just get the fattest check. It's just as long as
yes, because I don't think he wants anyone dipping into his pot, right? Manny's 46 years old. Does he really need somebody saying, "Hey, I got you this deal"? You didn't. Right?
All right.
All Manny needs to see is the guaranteed O's and what is supposed to be the direct deposit into his account. That's all he's looking for at 46. You can have everything else. You could probably get him on a lot of other things that he wouldn't be paying attention to. But I don't think it's enough where he needs someone that's going to take a percentage of his purse. So he's worked deals with the PBC. He seems to like it. He's got the guys that are those guys that are team that are working the deals with the PBC, they stay in place, work the deal with Floyd, but they got to move it to a different platform. And to me, that platform is Netflix, to try to see what Manny's numbers. I think they would just be through the roof. Manny right now, he's a legend, right? He's a walking legend, and he's hot. Unfortunately, they didn't let him get his max potential by those scorecards coming in a draw. I mean, let's be real. Barrios doesn't deserve to win when it became a draw. At the end, Al Heyman should have been like, "What do you guys got it scored? A draw, sir. Fuck him. Give Manny a point for being old. Fuck that guy. A draw. 46 years old. What is it? 3 years, 4 years out of the ring. This isn't like Manny was competitive all the way to 46, bro. This is his first fight back, taking on the champ who's 16 years younger, I think he was.
Oh, gosh. Was it? I don't know.
Yeah, I believe he's 16, a fucking career younger. How about that one?
Yeah, let's talk about those scorecards. Thank you for the softball on that one, because we got, let's take a look here, Tim Cheatham, which I've heard some funny jokes about his last name, right? You got to cheat him. 114, 114. He's the one that has it a draw. Max DeLuca has it 115, 113 for Barrios. And then the other last judge, Steve Weisfeld, had a 114, 114 as well. I can't imagine giving 6 rounds to Barrios, or even in Max DeLuca's case, 7 rounds. There were no knockdowns, not that I recall. At least I'm looking at the scorecard. Yeah, no knockdowns, no point deductions. This was 7-5 for Barrios. I don't see 7 rounds. I can't find 7 rounds that Barrios won.
Yeah, no. And the biggest thing is when he does the. What did they have in the championship rounds? I didn't even check the scorecards. Right. But to me, he loses like the last 4 rounds, bro. And that's where he should have lost his fucking title.
Oh, Barrios. Okay.
Yeah, Barrios.
All right. You want to you want to hear this? He wins 10, 11, and 12 on all the scorecards. Barrios does.
So they have him coming back.
They have him coming back. Yeah.
Someone made the phone call. I'm sorry. So that means the phone call came in around 9, bro. When they seen it going absolutely ass south, they're like, "Don't you do it? Don't you fucking do it?" Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll call you back.
So somebody sent some text messages. They're like, "Oh shit!" It's like, and then they'll be like looking at each other across the ring. Like, did you get the text? Okay.
Yeah, they're all. What score do you have? He's up by 3. Fuck.
Yeah, they're like doing these like baseball signals to one another. Like,
they're crowding. Are you fucking serious? They had him winning. I should have looked at that. They had him winning 3 of the last. Barrios wins 3 of the last 4 rounds on every 10, judge's 11, score.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he sweeps it at the very end, 10, 11, 12. That's what gives him the victory. That's what gives him the draw. At least
that's what gives him the loss, in my opinion.
Well, yeah.
Wow. So that is the phone call, bro. I'm telling you, there was something. They were like, "No, kill this flame. Kill this flame. We can't. We're not doing this. We're not doing it to Floyd."
So, well, I was going to ask you that, but do us a favor and explain so we don't have to connect the dots. Somebody gives a phone call and says, "Hey, we can't. We gotta put out the flame on Manny." Why?
Because the money goes through the roof. Manny as a champ. When you try to rematch him to Floyd now, guess who's making the side A?
I see.
That makes Floyd look pretty fucking desperate, doesn't it?
Sure does.
You're coming back to Manny the champ.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting B-side money. Not in the PBC headquarters. That's not happening. 3 rounds out of 4 to the challenger or the champ, whatever the fuck. Go ask Paulie Malignaggi if he's a fucking champ. Go ask that guy. He went hard on him. I'm like, damn, Paulie, didn't you used to go to PBC headquarters? Paulie don't want back into that place. He must be a little bit hurt about the firing of being a commentator or something. But yeah, that was he went pretty hard at Barrios.
You know, I'm trying to look. I mean, I guess it's a moot point, but I'm trying to compare the rounds. A lot of these rounds are the same. There's a few that are different, but a lot of these rounds are the same. Like they obviously they scored slightly different because DeLuca has Barrios ahead. But I was just trying to compare the round to see which round or which 2, I guess, because it'll have to have been 2 for Max DeLuca here. He's got 7 rounds to 5. He had to have given 2 more rounds, I should say, to Barrios, 1 for the draw, 1 for the victory, right? Because everybody else had it the other way around. I don't know what rounds he saw there. I legitimately don't know what rounds, but clearly text messages were sent, calls were made, right, and received.
Yeah, I mean, if they have any hope of Floyd coming back and working with them, and it just keeps the money down. Now it's just an old man fight, right? No belts involved. Now Floyd comes back and gets a title shot. Because, I heard that out there, too. Why doesn't Floyd come back and fight Barrios? Just, the WBC would grant Floyd an immediate shot, right? I'm sure he's one of those special champs that gets an immediate shot as soon as he gets back.
Like Manny, pretty much.
Yeah. So, why don't they go that route and try to put the belt on Floyd? Manny would still have the option of Rolly Romero. That makes sense for the fans to see both of them with titles. I don't think the promoters want it. Al Heyman being the promoter of this one. The fight makes money with just their 2 names. They don't need titles. And I think that's what what hurt Manny last Saturday in the ring going for that belt. They were hoping he looked just old enough to get Floyd's lazy ass. And I'm calling you lazy. I know you're not lazy, bro. But to see if Floyd wants to finally cash it in, right? Because Floyd got one more check to cash. When's he going to do it is what we're waiting for. I think Floyd was waiting for, he thought a $20 million, a $25 million fighter was going to be here already. Just didn't happen. He's waited a while. None of these guys have blossomed into anything even close to what Floyd was when Oscar De La Hoya was bringing in back in their heyday. The welterweight division, the junior welterweight division is just, it's broke right now in that sense as far as ticket sellers. You know what I mean? Even a Ryan Garcia does not compare to Floyd Mayweather and Oscar De La Hoya. He thinks he does, you know, and he might have for one fight, but he's nowhere near those guys.
And had he won that fight, it probably would have led to it, but that didn't exactly happen.
Right.
Is there a possibility that this happens to Manny again against Rolando? If he comes back and looks as let's say we're talking, it's July. I don't know how, you know, a professional athlete's 47-year-old body will recoup, but can we get him in the ring one more time before the end of the year? Let's say December, we'll say. Is there a possibility that, you know, they sign a fight with Rolando and the same shit happens? It's a close fight. Maybe it's a draw. Maybe it's a loss. They don't want to put the belt on Manny.
If they don't want this situation to happen again, I would keep Manny out of title fights. Because right now, PBC has two champions they cannot rely on. That's Rolly Romero and Mario Barrios. So if your goal is to keep Floyd and Manny just an exhibition fight, let's say, right, of just two old guys just airing it out, then no, I think you've dodged a bullet with this one. And I got to also say, his fans aren't going to stick around for too many of these close decisions, right? When's it just turn into Manny's just old and chasing belts now? Right, you might start seeing a backlash to that where his fans actually go, all right, dude, I'm done seeing you, you know, almost win the title and you're not winning them. Right. So that's what I mean. He has one more shot at this. I think they set it up perfectly for Manny that he looks like he's back. He kept up. He fought for 12 rounds. Hell, I thought he won the end. It's really funny. That's amazing that they had Barrios winning 3 of the 4, and that's not being in question, right? You would think there'd be a lot more heat out there for the last 4 rounds for them to justify where the fuck they thought Barrios was winning when trainers were yelling at Barrios at the end of this fight. Fans were fucking screaming Pacquiao's name. Pacquiao's throwing his hands in the air, looking like the old Manny, doing his little shuffle. Like nothing looked like it was going bad at the end of this fight. Yet he's losing the rounds, but maybe he was celebrating just keeping up. Bullshit. Yeah, they have the perfect setup right now. Like right now is when you want to negotiate really hard with Floyd about, dude, it's now or fucking never, right? We can't hold him back for that long. If we put him in the ring with fucking Rolly Romero and Rolly lays an egg, I can't do it again, right? Eventually, he's just better than you. And see if Floyd goes, no, fuck that. Yeah. Come on. Come back.
So, all right. So no Manny in title fights. Who do you think would be ideal? Again, not a champion, but somewhat of a younger guy. Obviously, everybody's going to be pretty much younger at this point, but significant name enough, some sort of name recognition, doesn't have a belt that would do. I mean, that would be there with Manny, 147 pounds, or even the neighboring weight classes if there are. I mean, in 140, obviously 154. I think I'm sure people will drop down from 154 if need be. But who do you think? Is there a name that pops in your head? You said, well, this guy probably would be a decent Manny fight, no titles.
Look, if Floyd's name is attached to this fight, it's going to be a B. It should be a B opponent. When De La Hoya fought, was it Daryl Tyson and Chavez fought Walker? What was that Pink Panther's first name? The
Damn.
Pink Panther guy. Remember the build-up fight for De La Hoya Chavez? We're like
Right.
two just unknown fucking people, right?
Sure.
Not ranked, nothing. Because the power of that card was the fans got to see De La Hoya and Chavez on the same card. That's all you would have to do. If Floyd and Manny were serious about making a comeback, their warm-up fights should be against nobodies, where they look very special and then they just announce that they're fighting each other. Now, if you want all the bells and whistles, then you try to get them in championship fights. But like I said, I got to keep going back to, I don't think it's really necessary to put a belt on these guys. Like Manny did it probably because Manny was owed some money and what happened. But if Floyd's coming back, that fight is sold. There's no need for belts. So I would lowball whatever sparring partner you're about to get in the ring. And who's the grandpa that Rolly Romero lost to for the title?
Oh gosh,
Or
yeah,
beat?
yeah, the one that Tony Weeks stopped the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
It's
remember his
someone
name.
like him, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the guy he's gonna fight.
How about the rematch with Ugas? Get that one back. Get the win back.
No, that's
Still too much.
We want him to lose.
All right. I'm trying to think who's oh gosh, I'm trying to think what's his name had like a fucking title defense. Fabian Maidana, like a Maidana member who Barrios himself fought. I think if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Some kind of like obscure person like that.
Yes, the poor man's real Marcos Madonna. Totally going with the guy like that. Now we're on the same page, bro. He just has the last name. Bam! That's my guy. You're talking like me now. Yes, exactly, bro. The power of the card is with them. Their collision, right? Not who they're facing that night. It's an easy still. And it's an easy viewerships for Netflix. I mean, seriously, Netflix, everyone would be all over it. They would absolutely be all over this fight.
All right. So on what's his name on Floyd's side, he comes back. Who can we toss at him? Are we going to look to toss him a belt? Give him a belt. Give him Barrios. Give him something like that so he can collect the belt again. The WBC belt, because obviously that's like his #1 favorite fucking belt. But let's say he does come back and we do a prep fight. Barrios will be perfect.
Barrios would be perfect because of Floyd's history with the WBC. Doesn't it seem like a perfect storyline for Floyd to come back and fight for that title first? So yes, it's there. No need for it, but yeah, the option is there, you know. But like I said, I would rather them go easy road, give us a free fight where you guys are doing a nice build up for yourselves, and then we move on just to the main event. No belts needed. Matter of fact, hey Miguel, empty out your guys' trophy case. Bring all your fucking titles from whenever you won when you were a little kid. All right, we don't need other titles. You guys have Floyd. You have 9 fucking world titles. Bring them all. We don't care. Come on, let's just get this thing going. Right? This is about Netflix, Miguel. I need the views on Netflix. I need boxing on Netflix. You see the bullshit they're doing over in Riyadh, right? Mm-hmm. I don't like it. I don't like that as I like them as a platform. I don't need him being all say all. Right? Don't need that because it doesn't look like he wants to play ball at all. He wants to play their ball.
Right? Yeah, precisely. As we're gonna probably find out with Usyk's next opponent. You know what?
And the big court case.
Which big court case?
I don't know. I guess that bill got announced today that they put that bill is going through. Yeah. Well, it hasn't been passed.
Right.
But yeah, if it's passed, you know, it's game changer. We don't need that.
Definitely don't need that. All right, so let's put on our promoter's hat for a second, right? We got a warm-up fight for Manny, warm-up fight for Floyd. This fight happens here in Vegas. I'm assuming Allegiant Stadium, something like that.
Most definitely. If not, you know, the casinos. Look at whoever's giving us money, right? Allegiant Stadium isn't giving us money.
Us. You're just we're all part of the crew now, right?
Yes. Isn't giving them money, bro. You have to rent that place and then sell a ticket. Somewhere like the MGM Grand, they might say, hey, we'll take you guys. We'll give you $25 million just to have the fight here, right? Then they give their tickets to their high rollers. They get all their gamblers in and make a big show out of it. So it matters. It matters if the MGM, if Mandalay Bay, or what is it, MGM Properties is interested in. They held the Manny fight.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
this
true.
last
Yeah,
fight was at at the MGM. I really like that. I like that they went back to the casinos because it was guaranteed money before. We didn't have to um what is the word? Not make up. We didn't have to produce the money. We didn't have to
yeah.
make, it was
You
already
don't
on the
have to
table.
bankroll it
Yeah,
yourself.
exactly. It was
Yeah.
already on the fucking table when we were there. So I hope they go back to the casinos. So yeah, I'm really up in the air with the Allegiant Stadium. Allegiant Stadium, Miguel, is only there for the huge fights. Manny versus Floyd's comeback fight. Do you really want to spend $700, $900 to watch that thing? As we've seen what the prices are for Crawford versus
Yeah, Canelo.
Canelo, 700 for the nosebleeds. Like, come on, man. At least the MGM, you keep it reasonable, and there's a good seat really everywhere in the MGM. It's not like Allegiant Stadium where it's 70 something thousand plus.
Mm. All right. That sounds doable. I mean, it doesn't seem too far fetched, especially with what we saw last weekend. I think they can do it. Any final words you want to touch on, or any you want to wrap that particular topic up that you want to talk about in regards to Manny or Barrios or the pay-per-view or anything like that?
I'm interested in seeing what the pay-per-view numbers were because it looked like it went so viral on Manny's side, right? Like there was this really brought Pacquiao's fans out. Yeah, I'm interested in seeing how high the numbers get, if they even moved the needle far enough where they're going to announce them, because it really seems like we haven't had some serious announcing of pay-per-view numbers in a while. We get all these rumors and ballpark and maybe it's this to that, but no definitive, no, this is what the number is. So let's hope he moved the needle far enough to at least where we got that.
Yeah, and
get that.
Get that. It's because I tried looking it up right now. Like I was like, well, fuck it. Let's see. This was Saturday. It is now Wednesday. Usually by Tuesday, if it's a hit, chances are by the following Tuesday we get some sort of ballpark figure. Nothing yet. It's just every article that I pull up that has anything to do with pay-per-view buys talks about their fight purses, et cetera, but not as far as what the pay-per-view numbers did. I mean, hell, didn't even see anything about attendance, or like live gate or anything like that. Maybe I missed it, guys. If you guys are listening, by all means, leave it in the comment. Fuck it. Send us a link, shit. Because as of right now, I'm not seeing jack shit in regards to how successful or not this pay-per-view was.
And that's what would bring it back to the casinos. If you remember, Manny Pacquiao's fight used to move the gambling for the weekend. That's how much Filipinos, I guess, gambled when there was a Pacquiao fight. Their numbers actually would show on it. So hopefully, if enough Manny Pacquiao fans went to the MGM last Saturday, they moved that needle where the casinos are like, all right, yeah, we need to bring them back. Yeah. Don't want them in the middle of the strip where they go everywhere else. You know what I mean? It's a terrible plan.
And yeah, no, let's have them at the casinos, please, inside, indoors. Okay, so one of the other topics, well, I guess the only other real topic that I wanted to talk about was this. I haven't heard a lot of talk about this, but it could, and don't mind the friggin' light coming in through my friggin' blinds here. But anyway, this weekend, the landscape of boxing may very well change, the way things look, at least. This weekend, Top Rank is going to hold a card with Xander Zayas. He's main eventing. I believe it's going to be for the vacant WBO super welterweight title, if I'm not mistaken, the belt that Fundora dropped in lieu of fighting Tim Tszyu. He'll be taking on Jorge Garcia Perez, or Jorge Garcia, as I just call him, and that's going to be from in New York. Well, that will mark the last scheduled event that ESPN has with Top Rank. As of right now, there hasn't been any talk or I haven't heard any rumors, at least not new ones. Last I heard, and I'm talking about January, February, honestly, that Top Rank was in talks of possibly splitting up across multiple streaming services, none of which being ESPN. I'm assuming some other people. Some rumors I even heard that they were going to go straight to the Zone, which wouldn't be a bad idea. We already have Matchroom there. We have Queensberry. We have Golden Boy. So might as well have them all under one roof, one streaming service. I'm down for that. DAZN is charging me $20 a fucking month. So if we got 4 major promoters on there, at least here, yes, sir.
Did you hear Turkey Ali talk about the DAZN subscription possibly going up?
Oh, even more, yes.
Oh, yeah, the 30 to 50.
Yeah.
Can you imagine $50 a month, bro?
No, dude. I'm. You know what? I would have to. I mean, not that I don't already stream some of these fights, but hell no, $50 a month.
I know.
And not every month has
He's like, fights, he's all. This is what we're gonna do. We will tell them no pay-per-view, while charging them 1 pay-per-view per month, basically. How's that sound, guys? They're all, yeah. What the fuck, bro? That's the American. You're giving us free shit.
No, they're trying to make it up on the back end. Pretty much what they're trying to do.
Come on. No pay-per-views, but 30 to 50. I know I took the high one. Right, but I know I took. But
even 30, bro. Even 30 is kind of already a lot, considering everything else is $10, $11.
And let's tell you how these guys usually stick it to us poor people. He's gonna say 50. And then when they come in at $43.99, they act like they gave you a fucking deal. And you go, oh, I didn't say 50, so it's only $44. Yeah, that was their price all along. But whatever.
I can imagine how that meeting went down. Everybody has their. We've talked about it before. Turki Al-Sheikh only has a limited knowledge as far as boxing and boxing business goes, and he just does whatever the fuck he wants to do. I can imagine this meeting. He's like, guys, I have an idea. Okay, let's listen, Turki. Sure, what it is. Let's no more pay-per-views, right? But charge these guys $50 a month or whatever, right? And we're like, who's gonna tell him? Yeah, we don't want to say no to this guy, right? But so that was a little bit of a side note, but we don't know where Top Rank is going to go. At this point, there isn't anything additionally. I know that, and mind you, it's not like they don't have talent. They have Vargas, right? Emiliano Vargas, the younger one, and then Xander Zayas, obviously, right? Bruce Carrington is going to be on the undercard of this one. Was Keyshawn Davis. They have talented guys, young talented guys. Where those guys are going to end up, I don't know what's going to happen next. As far as Bernard or Osuna, which we normally see him on ESPN, Kriegel and Mark Kriegel and Joe Tessitore and Timothy Bradley, I guess. Don't know where the hell they're going to end up, but as of right now, we are within a week of this final card, and it's kind of scary. We don't know how things are going to end up. It kind of snuck up on us. I remember hearing about this date again back in January. As a matter of fact, I was fortunate enough to have been granted some credentials for the Pacheco, Diego Pacheco and Steven Nelson fight back in January that was here in Vegas at the Cosmopolitan. And on the undercard of that, or I'm sorry, not the undercard, the day that they had the weigh-in, there was a recent signee to Matchroom, and he was courted by many other promoters, one being Top Rank. It didn't occur to me to ask him at that moment if one of the reasons he decided to go with Matchroom as opposed to Top Rank was because we don't know where Top Rank is going to end up later in the year. But I remember hearing about this back in January, and just like that, it's here. We're within a few days, and chances are there might not be any more. We don't know. We've talked about it many times already. When is Bob Arum going to just take a step back and just let go of the reins? At this point, there hasn't been somebody, competent enough to take over the reins, right? So is he just holding on for dear life until he goes under, not even going out with a big bang, but like with a little whimper, like, all right, this is the last card and this is it, kind of thing. But we're here, Andrew. What are you thinking about it? Is Saturday 26th, the last card?
Well, you made me more nervous now than I was coming in. Thanks. I was thinking, because we didn't hear a lot of noise about this ending to their relationship, that something was being worked out behind the scenes. Like maybe they were going to announce their new platform during the final closings of this ESPN card. Because you would think if there was noise about Top Rank not getting a deal or Top Rank possibly selling, that the rumors would be all over the internet, right? You'd have our good friend getting his sources like, hey, I'm hearing Top Rank is dissolving, Top Rank's selling, Top Rank's this. It's possible they struck a deal a while ago and it's not in the news because they did it so fast. You know,
You
no one,
think? I mean, with
they
the
have
way
a lot
social
of
media is, for it to not be leaked somewhere by Coppinger or even Dan Rayful or somebody else, anybody, any insider. I mean, look, for those of you who don't know already know, I used to be a big wrestling fan, right? And back in the day when shit would happen, right, you don't know because there was no internet. Now we know everything, right? There, you can't hijack shit because there's internet.
can't
We
believe
know.
everything
Ah,
though,
that too.
but
That too. We can't believe anything. Good point. We can't believe anything. But there's just kind of an influx of such information that, yeah, granted, it might be overload, but wouldn't we have already heard something, even if it wasn't an official announcement, an official press release, somebody leaking something?
you would think so, Miguel. But I'm thinking when it was right after the news got announced that they were canceling their contract with ESPN. I was thinking if they struck a deal that fast, would it be news? If that makes any sense, like would the reporters even catch it because they were still on the other topic of them breaking up with the ESPN? Oh my God, what does this mean? Top Rank's like, hey, just let them move on with that. Don't tell them what's going on. We'll come back in a few months and let everyone know. It seems like the story would be juicier if they were dissolving or leaving, right?
Mhm.
It's not juicy if 24 hours later it goes, well, it looks like Top Rank did strike a deal. They will be on with DAZN. No need to panic, right? Then you can't have the 5 stories that you ran about, oh my God, is this the end of the world? They're not on ESPN. What's this mean for boxing? Yada, yada, yada. You get what I'm saying? So
Okay. All right.
that because like I said, it just seems like it would be much bigger news if there were hints that Bob Arum was out. Because this thing is getting so close to the end and we haven't had any announcement about them being out, them selling, or a new deal. They struck a new deal. I'm leaning towards the side that they've already struck a deal and it just wasn't news when it happened. It wasn't big enough news as far as maybe it didn't trump ESPN backing out of boxing.
Okay. Well, I went to Top Rank's card or their website, similarly to how I went with PBC. They have that one coming up, right? Xander Zayas and Garcia later this week or Saturday the 26th, and then nothing else besides that.
Let
That
me
pretty much
let
is
me put it another way for people that still aren't getting it. Monday, you release the news, right? Breaking news: Top Rank ESPN cancel, right? If by Thursday of that same week ESPN was already signing with DAZN, what do you think gets more views, more clicks on the internet? The signing of DAZN or the fall of boxing,
well, the
the
signing of
breakup? I would have thought it's going to be the downside, the breakup of ESPN to boxing. They
why?
would want to run those stories more. That's how I'm seeing this.
Why would you say that? Because I'm thinking, where they're in they have their backs up against the wall. It's like it's damn near the end, and then voila, they come out of nowhere like, holy fuck, we're on DAZN. Oh shit, that's hot stuff. I would figure that would be the bigger story.
DAZN is not a bigger platform than ESPN. It's actually a downgrade.
Okay.
ESPN would be throwing DAZN a lifeline if they move there, bro.
So would it depend on where they sign? Like, let's say it's not DAZN, right? Because
Yeah,
DAZN
I'm
is not as
telling
big
you,
as
if they signed with DAZN 2 days later, it's not really news. The rest of the sports world don't give a shit about DAZN.
how about Amazon Prime? Let's say they sign with Amazon Prime, and they're
If
like, you know
they
what, the
signed with
PBC people, fuck these guys.
yeah, if they signed with Amazon or Netflix, much bigger news. But if it was DAZN, I'm telling you, the story about boxing and ESPN being dead is way more clickbait than, oh, they signed with that streaming app that's fucking barely making it anyways. Heard they're billions of dollars in debt. They have Turkey's money now.
You don't tune in to watch competitive bowling on Saturday mornings?
Yeah, I mean, hey, I just go off what I read, bro. And I heard, for a while, it sounded like DAZN was just fucking hanging in there. by the threads. Now, with the purchase that the Saudis did, I don't know how much of that debt they have cleared. You would have to think some, I don't think all, but you would think some of that debt has been cleared by them purchasing a percentage. Well, it was in the low, like under 20%, correct? Turkey Ali and them?
13. I want to say 13.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yep.
Mhm.
So something around there. So they obviously got a little bit of money, but no, it's not a big platform. And I think when you look at major league sports in America, boxing moving from ESPN to DAZN is a downgrade more than it is wow, moving on up kind of thing.
Or at least a lateral movement. If not staying on the same level, it's a downgrade.
Boxing moving to Netflix. I know I'm a dick, but much bigger. 300 million subscribers globally. Every month they pay. It's much bigger.
Okay. So that being said, let's say, because I kind of want to get your take on both sides of the fence. Let's say they don't sign with anybody. This is it. This is it, I suppose, right? No more. But Bob leaves it and says, "Boom. Let's try to figure out a way to get this sold." Is that what it would be? Because we're out. They don't have a platform. They're as good as dead at that point, right? They need to have some sort of platform to be on. Would that be I guess that side of the fence? If they don't sign with anybody, they're gone. No more Top Rank.
No, no more. No, I think someone would buy the company because they would still have fighters under contracts, right? So they could.
I understand. Yeah.
So they could sell the company as a whole, and I think there'd be people interested in their stable as long as they had the same guys that they've been putting on. They have a lot of young athletes, boxers in their stable that look to be making noise here in the near future in the boxing world. So I think people like His Excellency would be absolutely interested in purchasing the company as a whole. Even just say De La Hoya with his power connects, right? Not like De La Hoya just on his own, but De La Hoya seems to have still a lot of rich friends. I would see De La Hoya making a move to try. I mean, he already has a place in Las Vegas, correct? I mean, it's not like he would
home, you mean?
Yeah, he has a home in Las Vegas, so he could move right into the headquarters.
Yeah, that's true.
Could turn TR into Golden Boy. Matter of fact, he could leave TR and just put Golden Boy next to it, just so Bob can come when he's 90. He is 90. Fuck. When he's 115, he can still drive by the business and see his TR is still up, but Oscar could do something like that. You know what I mean? So it's
would Top Rank be in a position to where like they can't because they're not going to have a platform or potentially not have a platform, they have to kind of sell desperately at a discount, what I'm saying, and not necessarily because I'm thinking you probably hit it on the nail earlier. I mean, the nail on the head. Turkey, TKO, Dana coming in and saying, we'll give you something for it. It ain't going to be no fucking, 4 billion or anything like that, but we'll give you something for it. Would Top Rank be in that kind of position? What's the word? Like a hurt animal. Be like, fuck, okay, fine, sell. Because we don't have a platform anyway.
Turkey's not a foolish man. He would never come at them with the TKO deal. There's nobody in the roster of Top Rank that's going to be fighting for 50 grand when listen, Miguel, they had a sparring event to fill up that TKO undercard the other day. Did you guys hear me out? They had a fucking sparring event where guys in regular clothes showed up to at warehouse. It looked so unprofessional. Seen their one highlight was a guy getting knocked out because he was punched in the back of the fucking head.
Right, yeah.
Looked totally MMA-ish. Sorry. But it did not look boxing. The whole crowd jumping up and down was just weird. But no, that's not boxing. That's some poor man shit. That's 1 degree above two guys fighting in a cage. These dudes are already on a whole nother level. They'll never fall for that TKO bullshit. His Excellency.
I don't know if it's falling for it, but it's like how.
No, it's not the only. It's not the only thing left. You got Frank Warren. You've got Eddie Hearn. You've got Oscar De La Hoya. All of these.
Would it be willing to fork up the cash to get them from wherever, even if it
Yeah,
isn't top
Keyshawn
rank as a
Davis
whole. Yeah.
to get
Well, I
Keyshawn.
mean, after Keyshawn did what the fuck he did, I don't know. Does
Let's
that hurt
think
him?
about when. Well, look at who Floyd was, and Top Rank still made the move to trade for him, right? Think about where Top Rank was when they don't have Floyd to who they are when they have Floyd. What their business or their what that did for their company, right?
Hmm.
So Eddie Hearn or Frank Warren that's been trying to get into America's market here, they can look at all of their young guys and go, no, we're putting everything in. We're getting all the investors we have, and we're going for this hard because then we will control both sides of the pond. They're literally doing, you know, big cards.
Mhm.
So no, I everybody's in play, um, and then it becomes a bidding thing after that. And these guys are rich men, right? Um, I'm sure there's going to be one guy in the room that's going to stay to the very end. So the number is not going to be small because he's going to stay to the very end.
Hmm.
Whatever these guys have, that guy on the other side is probably going to come in. It's about a little bit more every single time.
All right.
What I mean, Miguel, is there will be no cheap price. Not when you have 5 rich guys in the room, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's potential that the future of boxing is on Top Rank. It's always been that way. Always been that way. The future of boxing has always been on Top Rank's shoulders for a while now. Think about all the great fighters in the last 25 years and how many of them come off of Bob Arum's work.
Yeah. And even now with the ones we mentioned, right? Keyshawn Davis and
it's
everybody.
and it's not just the work; it's the talents. I'm hearing an echo, you guys, and sorry if I sound weird. I'm hearing an echo in my ear. It's the talent. They're scouts, right? You can throw all the money you want at these young guys that come out of these gyms, come out of the Olympics. You could have all the money in the world and not be able to sign the right people. Top Rank have shown consistently that their scouts knew exactly who to pick out of these amateur rankings. So it's that's why you look at their stable and go, yeah, one of those guys are probably gonna, Zayas might be the future of the Puerto Ricans, right? Stuff like that. Shakur could be the future of America, So
I do. Huh?
Go ahead.
Oh no,
I was just gonna keep on going with names, but go ahead.
No, but so ideally, because that was one side of the fence. Like, all right, they don't sign with another platform. They don't continue. Chances are somebody comes and gobbles them up at a hefty price. The other side of the fence is they come out of nowhere, out of left field with some streaming service. I guess we hit it on the head earlier. Netflix would be number one probably, as far as like the top option, or not option, but the number one choice. And then I guess the next choice may be Amazon Prime, depending on how jaded Amazon Prime is with PBC and whatever deal they have with them. Maybe they're not even want to get into the boxing business. We don't know, but those two would be pretty good candidates. Not the Zone. Obviously not ESPN or ESPN Plus, whatever. Geez, who else? Hulu? Fuck, who the hell else could it be? That would be, that's kind of limited, no, as far as like where they can go. I mean, they can go to. Maybe for all we know, they end up coming up with a renewal deal with ESPN or something last minute. I don't know how that would work. I don't think that's the case, but regardless, they sign somewhere else. Let's say. Who are you thinking? Who do you think is more plausible, more logical? Like, who there's a higher probability of this happening, of them signing with X streaming service?
If they're limping around, it's going to be with DAZN, because DAZN is a global streaming app and they have global fighters. I think the last few years, Top Rank's been working a lot with fighters out of this country, coming from Eastern Europe, coming from Asia, coming from South America, right? They've had a lot more mixture of fighters from out of the country than say Golden Boy does, right? So you would think DAZN, for if they're limping around, dude, if they're the big bosses and someone thinks that they have the Floyd in their stable, they're going to one of the bigger apps, Amazon Prime or Netflix. one thing good about Top Rank is they kind of know how to put on their own show. Now, I don't know if that means the camera crew is Top Rank and the guys that distribute it over ESPN is all Top Rank. But Top Rank, as long as you give them a camera crew that's professional, that know how to put on a TV production, Top Rank knows how to run their own shows, right? They've been doing this for years, whether it be on TV or pay-per-view. They know what they're doing. So, maybe it's Amazon Prime. What that means is they can go anywhere. You want to go to Hulu, give them to Hulu. As long as you give them a camera crew that's competent enough to put on a fighting production, then I think Top Rank can move anywhere. Now, the numbers won't be as big as if they merged with DAZN or Rehad, right? Because it does seem like Top Rank's been odd man out on some of these huge fights lately, right? Like they don't want to do business with Bob, or they get in the fighter's ear and tell him, hey, you'll make more money if you just sign with us, and leave him, and the fighter listens because they're always morons, never seems to work out in their favor. Pacquiao, but even Terrence. I mean, Terrence leaving. I know Terrence he would probably have question what I'm gonna say, but I just feel like he's doing career suicide for his next big check from Al Heyman.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they didn't do shit for him. They gave him Spence, who we all thought should have happened way long ago. It's not like Al Heyman had to work some magic to get that fight off. Everyone was clamoring, waiting for it. They give him one payday and shit.
Well, one major payday, because I think he fought Porter as well, and he was a PBC dude at the time, so it wasn't humongous. Obviously,
but that was not before Spence.
No, it was before Spence. Yeah, that's
what I'm saying. Oh, yeah, that was before Spence. Spence is the last big fight that he's had.
Yeah.
Then he Mazmadov or whatever, and then Canelo, right?
Yeah.
So they've done shit with him since Spence. Come on. Mm-hmm. They give him a 10 what would he have? 10 fights, 11 fights? Is his next opponent?
Yeah.
Come on. No. Yeah, that side.
Isn't Usyk? I thought Usyk was Top Rank, right? I mean, at least to some degree, because I mean, I still remember him. Then this is again the biggest. We talked about it last week, right? I don't remember seeing what's his name, Bob Arum there. Maybe he was there, but I don't remember seeing him ringside, because he does go to Japan whenever Inoue's fighting over there, and we'll see him. Maybe we'll see him in New York for Xander Zayas, but I don't remember seeing him in the UK for Usyk and Dubois too. I don't remember, at least.
I haven't seen Bob Arum and Rehad that much, bro. At any Rehad cards. I didn't see him there when
he had to have been there at least once.
I haven't seen him there when he does his big. Remember when he did the big promoter event and he had all the promoters there and the boxers there, and they do that big old picture?
Yeah.
I didn't see anyone from Top Rank, not DeBuff, not Arum was in that picture.
Damn, are you sure? Really? Because I'm almost certain he's I'm almost certain he was not for that picture, but I know he was there for something. Unless I'm thinking about a different fight that might have been in the UK somewhere, but might not have been in Saudi Arabia at all. But I think it was already when Riyadh season started. It was a thing, hashtag whatever on the ring. And I remember seeing him at least once ringside, and I don't even remember what the fuck fight it was, honestly.
You can't find a picture with Turkey Ali and Bob Arum together.
No. And if we do, is it going to be on the left side or the right side? No, okay.
No, definitely. Did you see? Who was he standing with? Damn it! Oh, the middleweight. Shiraz was that the last fight? Yeah, standing on the left side, and he had Jason Statham, the actor.
Oh, what the fuck? Really?
Yeah, he had him on the other side. I was like, poo-poo hand.
Yeah. Hey, maybe that has something to do with why Shiraz doesn't remove that fucking left hand wrap. I don't know, yo. Maybe that's just like, what? This is the protection hand. This is the one that he used to wipe. So let's go ahead and keep the hand wrap on that one. I don't know. Just throwing in my 2 cents.
But no, I do not remember a picture of Bob Arum and Turkey together.
Well, we're gonna do some research.
He's taken a lot of photos, and I don't remember Bob Arum being one of them. So something's going on there. Maybe Bob just don't want to do the flight, but yeah, we have seen him other places in the world. So something else.
You think we'll see Turkey there, like ringside for this weekend?
He hasn't even texted about it, right? Have you seen him put anything out about?
No, about this weekend, no.
Yeah, you would think if he was interested in the Zayas, he would be like, oh, the future of Puerto Rico is fighting this weekend, or very interested in seeing the guy from, something, but I haven't seen shit. So, yeah, I think something's there we don't know about between Bob and Turkey. Maybe it's political. Bob's old school, man. Could be a political.
Oh yeah, right. He's gonna be like, back in the 70s, we gave you motherfuckers weapons, and you guys turned your back on us, or some shit like that, right? Some kind of bullshit like that.
Turkey's all, what is he talking about? They have no idea what he's talking.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know. I'm post
Talk to your dad. Your dad screwed me. Your royal family screwed me.
Yeah, yes. They were supposed to give me weapons of mass destruction, and they never did. Fuck you guys.
Did you just say that?
That was my impersonation. That was my impersonation of Lee doing Top Rank Bob. Sorry, guys. That was my impersonation. But that pretty much wraps it up, guys. We want to give you guys a quick short show on a couple of topics that we wanted to talk about. We'll see how this weekend turns out this Saturday. ESPN Plus, last card on ESPN Plus, last scheduled card at least from Top Rank, and it's going to be headlined by WBO Super Welterweight Championship, Xander Zayas on the card. Anything else you'd like to add to this, Andrew, before we call it a show?
No, that's it. That's it from us, Miguel.
Fantastic. Well, we will see you guys on Sunday, and after the bomb goes off and everything clears, right after the dust settles of Saturday's event, we'll see what happens on Sunday. But we will be here to walk you guys through it, to hold you guys' hands and walk you guys through it. So that we'll call it a show at this point. For my co-host Andrew, don't get it twisted, Lapiche, I am Miguel Antonio Barragan, aka Fight Fiend Migs, and this has been Mad Boxing Show. We will see you guys next weekend. Peace.